mission, mama on a mission, mama on a mission for a better life.
Hi guys, so welcome to my news and reviews for March. This is a new monthly feature. I've started it last month, and what I do is I just talk about things that I've been watching or doing or liking, writing about on the blog. So it's just like a news kind of thing, all about what's been going on for me and my family in the month of March. Oh, and I should have said, my name's Denise, and I am a blogger. I blog at mumonamission.co.uk, and it's great to have you here, so I better get on. So I haven't actually been watching that much this month. I have enjoyed a programme on ITV, which is called, what's it called? The Trouble with Maggie Cole, and that stars Dawn French, which is what drew me to it, because I have mentioned before I'm a massive Dawn French fan. It's quite a nice little watch, you know, it's got a little bit of comedy in it, and it's not very taxing on the brain. It's quite nice to chill out and just watch. And it's all about a lady who is played by, Maggie Cole is played by Dawn French, and she lives in this little village. Her husband is actually, I don't know his real name, but the character of Jim in Friday Night Dinner plays her husband, which makes quite a nice couple, I think. They play against each other really well. And she gets invited to have a radio interview, and the reporter gets her very drunk, so she says a lot of stuff that she shouldn't have said about other people in the village, and it's all about like how that unfolds, how much of that was actually true, and what kind of ripple effect that has on these people that have been sort of outed in the press, and the effects that it's had on her as a person who didn't actually mean to be malicious. She's just one of those ladies that you do see. I grew up in a village, and I've seen ladies like her. You know, they want to be seen as the sort of village advisor and the font of all knowledge, and they're not meaning to be gossipy, but they actually are. So they're not doing it, you know, maliciously. There's no bad intent, but they do get themselves in these predicaments. So yeah, it's a nice little watch. So if you haven't watched that, then I'm sure it's available on the Catch Up TV or the ITV download. I don't actually know what it's called, but you know what I mean. And it's still on at the moment, so I think we're on like number 4, maybe number 5, something like that. So I'm enjoying that. And I'm still enjoying watching Criminal Minds, which is the last ever season. So that's good. It's on every once a week on Sky. So I'm enjoying watching that too. It's really sad because I've watched every single season. So I just really hope that they don't end it, with killing everybody off or anything. I hope that it's ended happily for the characters on there. So that's been nice. Apart from that, I haven't really watched anything else. I've just literally last night signed up for the Disney Plus, which I'm sure nearly everybody has. It's been all over my Instagram. Everybody, most of the parents actually, watching all this Disney stuff. I held off downloading it for a few days because I knew that if I downloaded it, it's going to be such a distraction for me and Faith when we should be doing schoolwork, or I should be doing my blog work. It's really tempting to then like snuggle up on the sofa and watch some Disney films. Plus they got Marvel on there as well, and I am a bit of a Marvel fan too. So yeah, I was holding off a bit, but then I caved and last night downloaded it. So we've got that now. So I'm sure next month I'll be talking about all the things I've watched on the Disney Plus. But I haven't actually watched anything yet. I've just added some stuff to my list. So I'm trying to use the little restraint that I have. So yeah, but that's about it for what I've been watching this month. So this month I was gifted a book. When I say gifted, that means that I'm given a copy of this book for free in exchange for me to do something. And what this was that I would include it in my Mother's Day gift guide, which I did. And I've been reading this, and it's a very good book. So I'm just going to read you the blurb, as they say, on the back. So it says, it's called Pivotal, and it's by Nikki Valance. And it says 4 lives, 3 siblings, 2 secrets, 1 pivotal moment. When a mysterious request throws the lives of 4 women into chaos, they seek support from hypnotherapist Dr. Kath O'Hannon. Through a process of self-discovery, their newfound knowledge weighs heavily as they unpick 4 decades of life choices and are forced to make bold decisions about the next stage of their journeys. Pivotal is a split narrative relationship mystery portraying the impact of a life-changing moment on 4 women with seemingly unconnected lives. So it's actually really good. I'm really enjoying it. I found it a bit difficult to start with because it's one of those books where it's written about these 4 women's characters. So there'll be, like, I started it off and you've got part 1, and then it's got on here Dulcie, which is one of the characters, and there's a couple of pages where she's talking about what's going on in her life, and then the next 2 pages later you have the name Elizabeth, which is another of the ladies' main characters, and then there's a couple of pages about her life and her perspective. So it's constantly switching between the 4 ladies, and I'm not used to that, so it did take a little while to sort of get into it because I was getting a bit lost between the different characters. But once I did get into it, it's getting really interesting. I think the writer's really, really good. She must be a very good people watcher, so she's very good at getting each character their own little, their own little character traits and their own. It's like when I'm reading it, you can tell without even looking which character the writer is talking about at that moment, because they're so well defined. Those characters are so well defined, and they are very different characters. And it's really good, and I'm really looking forward to sort of seeing how it all ends. I haven't read that much of it yet. I'm sort of about just over a quarter of the way through, I think. Not because I don't like it, it's really good, but that's just because I don't get time to read. There's always so much going on. But I'm definitely really enjoying it, and I'm reading it a lot more frequently now that I've gotten into it. So yeah, definitely worth a read if you have the time and you like books that are about the sort of relationships between people, the choices that we make and the knock-on effect of those choices. It's sort of a bit of psychology in there, and it's very relationship based and really worth a read. So I'd definitely recommend that one. So this month I've written a few posts, still not as many as I would normally do, because obviously we've had a lot going on with COVID-19, which I'll be talking about in a little while. But what I have done this month is I've done a post called Tips for Planning Your Day. I think I mentioned this in Peak in My Week. So that was a collaboration that I did with Collins, stationery people, and it was talking about ways that you can plan your day, like tips to make planning your day easier, and also showed some of the products that I was gifted from Collins Stationery. So that was a nice post, and it's very useful if you are somebody who wants to get into being more proactive and planning their days out. So I'll give that a little look. I also did taking the hassle out of, taking the hassle out of juggling fur and family, and that just gives you some tips. So if you're a busy family and you've not got any pets, and then you really want, I guess it's more aimed towards dogs, but it could be any pet, I guess, but but it's written with the perspective of dogs. So you say to yourself, let's get a family dog. This is some tips to help you do that, to make that a lot easier, because it is a big thing taking on a new puppy or a new dog. And fitting it into your family. You want it to go well, you don't want it to be a disaster and end up having to send the dog on its way, because that's awful for the poor dog, and it's not good for you either, especially if you've got young children that might become attached to the pets. So you don't want it to be stressful, you want it to be as good as possible. So there's some tips and ideas there to help you do that in a really good, healthy way. I've also done a homeschool post. So that is about the topic that we've been doing, which is the UK in terms of geography. So we've been looking at the 4 countries in the UK, all the counties in England. I didn't do all the counties or regions or whatever they are in the other 3 countries. I just concentrated on England, as we live in England, and that was already like 40, I think there's about 44 counties in England, so she had to do a lot of writing and learning for that one, but it was interesting though. I found it really interesting. There's a freebie to download on the blog in my freebie library if it's something that you're interested in doing with your children if you homeschool, or if you just wanted to give them something educational to do, which is all the counties of England in boxes where you can fill them out, and then there's other ideas of things that we've done as well, you know, to make it as a unit study, as the Americans would say, so because that's how we homeschool. I also did a gift ideas for mum post, which has just got lots of ideas, and there is affiliate links in that post, which is just ideas of things that you can get your mother if it's Mother's Day, which it was recently, but also it's a useful post if it might be your mum's birthday coming up, or you might be wanting to get her something for her anniversary or for Christmas. So there's lots of reasons that you might want to treat your mum to a present, and there's some really good ideas in that, I think, anyway, because I wrote it. So let me know what you think if you actually have a look at it. I've also done why it is always fun to make a fuss, which is looking at why we should celebrate things as much as we can. There's a lot of, you know, stuff, people say a lot of things about things being over-commercialised, and they're quite cynical about things, but I think it's nice to use any excuse you can to have a bit of fun, because life can be blinking hard. You know, we want to have things to look forward to and brighten up our days and show the people we love how much they mean to us. So why not grab hold of every excuse you can and make a fuss of the ones you love, and make a fuss of these events that come up, and have those fun things to look forward to and create those memories and those family traditions. It's just brilliant, isn't it? So that might be worth having a nose at. I've also got a poem on there which is a bit dark. It's also on here as well. And that is my poem, which I published it because it was World Poetry Day, and the title of the poem is So Alone, and it's quite a dark poem that I wrote when I was in a dark place, but I feel much better now, but hopefully, you know, it might relate, and if you like dark poetry, or you want to know that you're not the only one feeling those feelings, then it might be worth a look. I've also done a review of a journal which is for children aged, I'm probably going to get this wrong now, I think it was 7 to 12 years, that me and Faith have been doing together, so it was for Faith, and she's been enjoying using that. It's really good. The journal's called Happy Confident Me, I do believe. But it's really good because it helps to, it only takes 5 minutes a day, and it helps children to, you know, one, understand the importance of being able to use tools such as a journal to discuss, you know, to sort of get those feelings out of your head onto paper, and work through those feelings that you might be experiencing. And it also teaches them to be confident and happy in themselves, and say good things about themselves, because I think one of the downfalls of us as a nation, us British folk, don't like to sort of say that we're good at things. We like to kind of downplay what's good about us, and I think that has a negative effect on people. I certainly felt that as a child I was encouraged to not say I'm good at anything, otherwise it looked like you have a big head sort of thing, and then as I grew up I internalised that and never wanted to put myself out there as being good at anything, which was mad really. Now I think if I'm good at something, I'm going to blink and well say it. There's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, it's really good, and it also teaches gratitude as well, because there's a section each day where the child will write 3 things that they've, you know, enjoyed, you know, it's been good for them that day, or they've appreciated that day. There's lots of different questions on each day, so it's not writing the same thing over and over again. And then there's weekly activities as well. But you can find out more about this if you go onto my blog and have a look at that blog post, which is actually called Happy Confident Children. I've also written ideas for keeping positive during tough times, which is definitely worth a look at the moment with the current health problems that we've got in the world, we're all experiencing right now. So I would definitely have a look at that. And then I've done two board game analysis posts, which is my fortnightly feature I have on my blog. I did the logo grab game and I did categories this time. And then I will have one more post coming out this month, which will be coming out Monday 30th of March. And that will be a recipe for Devonshire splits. So that is what I have been up to on my blog this month. And if any of those take your fancy, do pop along and have a look. I have loved two things this month that aren't, not products or anything like that. The first has been seeing all of these parents and children on social media, all of the activities they've been doing together, and all of the learning that they've been doing together, and they've been doing PE together. It's been lovely because obviously I am a homeschool mum, and I personally do think that we are better suited to teach our children than these schools are. To see, I know this isn't through choice for everybody else, they've been forced into it with the schools being closed, but to see all of that bonding and learning and parents and kids spending time together, doing so much fun, I've really enjoyed watching it all. And it's been really lovely. And I do wonder, will any of these parents actually think this is a better way? And maybe they might start homeschooling, you never know. But because we live in such a busy world, I know that I'm extremely privileged. I mean, I do make a lot of sacrifices, me and my family, in terms of financial sacrifices and things, to homeschool. We'd be far better off financially if I'd kept my daughter in school, and I was working full time now as well. But we made that decision because I wanted to place Faith and her mental health and her well-being above, whether we can go on 3 holidays each year or what have you, or any holidays that's been the last year and a half. But yeah, I'm digressing with my random rambles like I do. But the point is, I do realise that I'm privileged. I do realise that not everybody can do that, and not in the position that they can do that. But it would be nice to see a few more people realising what they're missing out on by sending their kids to school when the school systems aren't really that good anymore. They're based on a system that was designed about 100 or 150 years ago or something, and they're still exactly the same now as they were then. There's been no growth, no development. Everything else has changed over the years, and the schools are still the same. They've just updated the curriculum and made it 100 times harder, and it's put so much pressure on children. It really saddens me. It does. I mean, some kids they're more resilient than others, and they can deal with it, and that's great. But personally, I just feel that teaching children yourself is so much more effective, and you're giving them the tools they need, the real tools they need to actually, do well in this life. And it's just been really nice watching all that bonding and all that family time together. I've really enjoyed it, so I'm really loving that at the moment. The other thing that I've really loved this month was the 8 PM clap that was done in England for the NHS and other key workers at this very, very trying time. I read about it on my Instagram. I stood at the back door, opened the door up at 8 o'clock, and I thought, I'm going to clap. I'm probably going to be the only one in my area doing it, and anyone that sees me is going to think I'm completely lost my mind, but I'm going to do it because they deserve a round of applause. And it was so nice. You could hear claps all over, from all sides of the gardens and the streets, and it was like a roar going over, over Ipswich, and there was cheering and whooping, and somebody let some fireworks off, and I didn't think it was going to affect me like that, but I literally had goose pimples going down my body, and I was just like, I can't believe it, it's amazing. And I felt a bit tearful as well. It was quite emotional to think that we're all coming together to do this, to give this big thank you to these people that are doing such an amazing job at this really scary time. So that was absolutely brilliant, and I was so proud of everybody that did it. And yeah, it was really inspiring, and I hope that all those key workers and all those NHS staff realised how special they were in that moment and how much we do appreciate them. So yeah, that was a really lovely moment. So we haven't had much in terms of events or days out or anything. Obviously with the new regulations we can't go out anywhere. We had Mother's Day, which was a bit strange because obviously people couldn't go out and do as they please like they would normally do. But I must say, Faith made my Mother's Day absolutely lovely, and I think for her age she probably did the most effort than any of my children have ever done at that age. I was really proud of her. She made me a beautiful breakfast of homemade waffles, and she also, with the supervision of my husband, cooked us all a roast pork dinner, and she brought me some lovely thoughtful gifts, a couple I'd asked for because we'd been shopping together and I'd seen they didn't cost very much money, but there were things that I really wanted, so I'd sort of said, you know, I really like this sort of thing, which was, so that was lovely. But she also got me some things I hadn't been expecting, which were lovely as well, and she put so much thought into it, and she brought me a beautiful card. It was just really lovely, and I got some nice presents off my other two girlies as well. I had a beautiful blanket from Lauren and James, which has pictures on it of all the family members, which is lovely. I just don't want to have it out with my dogs because they'll probably like eat a hole in it or something, so I've got to keep it away from them. But it's a beautiful blanket and a really nice thoughtful thought. And Chloe May outdid herself this year. She's booked tickets for me and her to go to London to Friends Fest, which I was absolutely shocked. I was not expecting that at all. I'm really excited. We have found out now, since with the coronavirus, that it has now been moved from July to October, providing things have settled by then. Scary thing is, we don't know if it will be, do we? But yeah, I had a nice Mother's Day under the circumstances, and my girls all did nice things for me, which was lovely. So, and even my little fair boys got me a card, which was cute, and it had a little dog on it, on the front, and he was doing smiling. And he looked a bit like Leo, which was even cuter. So yeah, I felt very lucky and loved and blessed, and had a really nice day. And then that kind of leads on to the problems we're having at the moment with the coronavirus. I don't want to be too serious because I know that we're all hearing a lot of preaching going on and a lot of lecturing going on, perhaps a lot of judging going on as well. I don't know, but it is a scary time at the moment, and it does frustrate me that even though this has been going on a long while now, even in our country, people still aren't doing what they're meant to be doing. You know, the Prime Minister has said, do not leave your house unless you're going to get food, which you shouldn't be doing more than once a day, and you shouldn't be doing every day really, because it's not like we haven't got freezers and fridges and pantries and things to put our food in, so there's not really any need to be going out every day for that. Use delivery services where you can. I know that is tough at the moment because they're all booked up. He said only go out for that reason. If you have to go to work because you can't work from home and you still have to go to work, then go to work. Other than that, you can leave your house to go once a day for exercise, and that's it, unless it's a health emergency. But people aren't listening. They're still just going about their days as if everything's normal. They're still going about in groups. They're still sitting around together, socialising together. This is not a joke. People are dying. You know, this is really serious, and I would hate to think that I had infected other people and ended up being a cause, therefore, for them to die. You know, people have to think about this. And I've heard that a lot of young people, in terms of like 18, sort of around that age, have been not taking it serious at all, because they're thinking, well, we're young, we'll be fine. Well, you might be fine, but what about the people that you infect? What about if you infect your own family members and they die? And not everyone is safe no matter what age. We had a 21-year-old pass away because of this awful disease. You know, we need to be smart and we need to start actually caring about each other and doing what's right and following the guidelines. Otherwise this disease is not going to ever go. I don't want to sort of moan too much, and like I said, I'm keeping it as short as I can on this subject because I know we're hearing it all the time. But if any of you guys are watching this and you haven't been taking it that serious, then please do. Because this is not a joke, you know, this is the most serious thing that our country's had to face since the wars, World War II. And I want us to get through it. I want it to be something that we can look back on in years to come and say, you know, we came together as a nation and we did what we needed to do to stamp that virus out, and we saved as many lives as we could, and we're proud of ourselves for what we've done. I don't want us to be looking back if we're still here in 20 years time feeling ashamed at what a ridiculous farce and all the lives that were lost that didn't need to have been. We want to be positive and be looking back and feeling proud of ourselves. So let's all actually do what we need to do now to get rid of this virus, and let's listen to what we're being told and do as we're being told. And that is all I'm going to say on that subject. Okay, so I have come to the end of the news and views for March. So I will leave you with a little slideshow of the pictures that I've posted on my Instagram grid for the month of March. I hope that you've enjoyed watching. If you have, give me a thumbs up. If you like my content, then please do subscribe to my channel and get your friends to subscribe too. Leave me some comments. Come on guys, I love to talk to you, and I will answer any comments that you leave. And of course you could be extra superstars and follow me on my social media. That would be fantastic. But that's all from me for now guys, and I will speak to you all soon.